First time going live using the Stream Deck, and everything seems to be working. Hello everyone! Welcome to what should be the finale of the Warhammer Mercenaries of Middenheim first scenario. Things seem to have come to a head at the last session, but there's just a few things to tidy up, I think. Would one of you guys like to give the plot so far to our wonderful viewers?
Well, you see, I've got a problem in as much as half the last session I spent basically gonzo while my brain dribbled out through my eyes.
Plot seemed fairly simple to me. There were bad people doing bad things, and we hit them. Well, you hit them mainly. I stood at the back and chair-led rather than anything.
I think you'll find, in fact, it was Leonard who did a lot.
I did severe damage to the wall with sling, but that was about it, really.
Okay, we isolated where the Maestro, who has been sacrificing people to raise demons, was going to be holding a final farewell sacrifice with his last farm fresh victim, who was the girl we've been looking for since session 1. And we went over there to explain to him the error of his ways, which we did eventually, and unfortunately Lenore learned the hard way that possibly climbing over the altar where the strange evil magical field brain draining thing was going was possibly not the smartest move she'd ever made, and got magically nailed to the spot, leaving unfortunately Leonard to deploy the shitty end of the stick.
That is his chosen tool.
It is.
And save us. Save us all.
Well, no, I mean, in fairness, I think the 22 points of damage from one attack that you did was what really saved us.
Well, yeah, to be fair.
You killed the Maestro in 2 hits.
Once I got to him.
And it wasn't just, you hit him hit the floor. It was actually you hit him twice.
Yes, I remember.
So 3 hits if you count him hitting the floor.
Yes, I just remember the open-ended exploding that wouldn't stop.
So do I.
Yeah, 22. Okay.
I know. I was they're going, they're not going to believe this.
Back when my first Warhammer Fantasy roleplay campaign, I remember Dave getting 26.
Wow.
I think that was when he killed a Minotaur with 1 shot. No, not a Minotaur, rather. He punched out a Minotaur. It was a Manticore that he killed with 1 shot.
That's fairly impressive.
This will be a nasty encounter. They're going to take some time over this one. Bang! Just kept on rolling.
Yeah, straight to the insta-death critical.
Yeah, straight to the level 5 critical, which is basically, there's a slight chance of nothing happening, or the rest of it is just death.
Yes.
I think what we definitely didn't do is show a ideal method of conflict resolution.
It was
I
effective.
thought that was Lenore's ideal method of conflict resolution.
Seemed pretty ideal.
Hit it with a 2-handed sword.
And if that doesn't work, hit it again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, if it moves, hit it. If it doesn't move, knock it over, then hit it. If it still doesn't move, it's probably a wall.
It sounds like the definition of percussive maintenance.
I feel far less bad about abusing your weapon now.
So whose weapon? Which one? Just thinking, whose weapon did he abuse?
It's generally not a good idea to admit to abusing somebody's weapon on live streams, because next thing you know, police come around.
I forget that there is a very open-ended chat here.
Yes, it is very, very open-ended.
Do you know I haven't opened chatty? Good Lord.
I think the only weapon that potentially could claim abuse is the ferret.
Yes. Actually, it didn't die.
No, it didn't.
That's 2 combats that damn ferret's been in. It needs plate mail.
It is officially battle ferret.
It does.
Seriously leveled up now.
What do we think? Sort of a chain shirt, so he's got the mobility still, but then a little helmet and tipped claws.
It definitely needs at least like
Got a
something
male leash for it,
Centurion-esque helmet wears.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, there we go. Yes. So kind of a chain sock that you can slip him in with little leg holes cut in.
I'll be like that.
Yeah, that would do it. Excellent stuff.
Is Battle Ferret then a knockoff version of Warhamster?
It is now. It may not have been originally, but it is now. Oh
Credit,
my god.
obviously, to John Kovalik for Warhamster.
Indeed.
Yes.
That turns up a lot in Dark Tower stuff.
Indeedy poos.
So, as it stands, there is a still dimly lit in this slightly spooky light from the lighting around the dais. A somewhat dazed and confused Sophia being released from where she is on the dais. As Lenore picks herself up from the carcass of the Maestro.
That makes it sound so much worse than what I did. You know, am I the only one thinking that perhaps we might need to have her checked for an exorcism? Or necessity of an
Well, I
exorcism?
think possibly taking her to a temple might be a good idea.
Yes.
I mean, you saw how it broke. I'm pretty sure you killed it.
Well, yes, but she was in that light for an awfully long time. And
Given
that light
what
was
she's
awfully
been
strange.
through, I think probably taking her to Temple of Shalya is not a bad plan anyway. Just let him look, give it a once over.
Okay, but can we take her in anonymously?
She's not a
I don't
newborn
think
baby.
I don't think we've got any anonymously's handy. We could take her in a cart.
Visions what we're going to go in masked, dump her on the desk. On the dais, on the desk. Yes, all good temples have a nice big desk.
First,
Dais,
because they'll
desk,
never
potato.
never be able to track us down because a group of a one-armed halfling, a beggar, a ludicrously tall bird with a sword, and an elf full of ferrets are very unusual, and they'll never be able to track us down.
She's 5'5".
She's tall to me.
I
She's
grown up.
shorter than I
She's not
am.
actually that tall because it's a two-handed sword and generally
Yeah.
be considerably taller than me. I keep forgetting she's not actually that tall.
No, she is, however, I think.
She comes across as at least 6 foot.
Yes.
It's like wind chill, you know.
Yes.
5'5", effective height 6'6".
Yes. More with the
Yes.
sword.
I mean, poor Lenore, she's shorter than me.
I know.
That doesn't happen often.
I know.
That is short.
Precisely.
He's only an inch shorter than me, Fish.
Yes,
Hey, I'll have you know I'm average height for
Yeah, I
a
know.
woman.
So, yeah. I believe you.
Average height for an adamantium skeleton.
Also
mutant.
true, yes. Yeah, well, funny
Right.
enough, I did survive the lamppost, so you know.
This is
There
it,
you
true,
go,
and
there you
indeed
go.
bent the lamppost.
Yes,
so, yeah.
yes.
Is there something that perhaps we
Adamantium
should,
skeleton healing factor.
we should fear for his drums if he ever gets really hacked off mid drum fit? Snick, clink, oops.
I mean, I haven't been joking for all the time that I've been saying that the lamppost came off worse.
Hey, the lamppost isn't there anymore. What can I say? Anywho, meanwhile, back in Middenheim.
Yes, meanwhile back at the plot.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I think our first duty is indeed to get Sophia to a temple. Is it worth searching here first, then? Because I'm assuming we don't want to come back. Ideally.
Oh,
I didn't
definitely
have
not.
plans to come back, it's got to be said.
Right.
We could have a
So-
quick shufty round, see if there's any
Well-
evil tomes we need to burn or funds that we might need to redirect into a more worthy cause.
You're still
Leaflet
smarting.
printing, that sort of thing.
Yes, you're still smarting because you need new leaflets, aren't you?
I'm not smarting because I need new leaflets, but I do need new leaflets.
Like, I needed something to line the bottom of the ferret bag.
It's an expensive business, bettering people.
Okay, so we can. Sophia's not actually injured, is she? She's sort of gonzoed and.
Of course,
Yeah,
we're
shaky.
not alone, because because we did have allies. We had at least Repetti.
Oh God, yes, we have
Yes.
Repetti with us. We
I
have
can't remember whether
Repetti
he
with us.
brought anyone with him or if it was just
It was
Repetti.
just Repetti.
It was just Repetti, yes. Unfortunately, we seem to be making. Did we actually know? Did we bring name escapes me every time. Vaguely competent, scary one who's clearly got thief levels and therefore vanishes out of my memory every time we
No,
play.
we didn't.
No, I don't believe you did bring her with you.
You are
Referring to,
of course, to Ludwika.
Ludwika.
Ludwika, did she stay back to
And
guard
we
the
did not.
inn?
I
On
think
the
we just couldn't find her, if I remember rightly. I have a feeling she wasn't there.
No, I recall Ludwika gearing up to come with us.
Yeah?
I definitely recall Ludwika being surprisingly agreeable.
Which probably means she's in on something.
Okay, I didn't watch that. We watched that part of the episode.
Yeah,
So we watched the end to remind myself.
I think
where
you're
we
right,
finished.
Kiki. I think she did come along, but ended up for some reason not taking much.
Of an active role.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
Which in hindsight does seem suspicious.
Yeah, but she seems suspicious ever since she turned up and vaguely knew what she was doing.
You're incredibly suspicious of poor Ludwika.
I'm incredibly suspicious of anyone more competent than me, which means I am suspicious of everybody except possibly Brunhilde and
Everybody
Leonard.
except Brunhilde, yeah.
Oh wow, did you just call me competent?
Yeah,
No,
because
Leonard.
I don't know.
Apparently, you and your ferrets are apparently more competent than Lenore.
Clearly, the ferrets are a judge of character sufficient that they trust him for some unknown reason.
Erdit is a competent ferret wrangler. You heard it here first.
No, Erdit is a competent ferret strangler.
It's close. I
That
was
too.
nearly there.
So, yes, there are a number of corpses around the room. That potentially, if you want to spend the time, may or may not have something worth looking at, or indeed there may be
Yes,
some
let's-
things around the room to find. Who knows?
Let's,
Or you could
My
just
first
take
I'm going to
Sophia.
start searching the room, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to search the Maestro since he's in two convenient searchable pieces.
He is indeed in two conveniently searchable
That's about
pieces.
right,
Yes.
yeah.
Although miraculously, his helmet has stayed on throughout the fight, probably
I'm gonna
strapped in
search.
place.
God, he's in
Around the
German,
altar.
Okie doke. In answer to your question, Sophia is remarkably, or seems physically uninjured, just slightly out of it, as if she'd been heavily doped up.
We are definitely going to the Temple of Shalia.
The demon that's possessing her wants her in good condition. So.
Oh, good. That's endearing. And makes me feel so much better. Wonderful. Wonderful. Right. Okay, so suddenly everyone's off to their abilities for...
Yes. So we're searching things.
Yes, I have no relevant skills.
That's okay. If there's something to find, there's still a small percentage chance of finding it anyway.
And I search at a reduced rate because I only have one hand, so I can't pick things up and look underneath. I have to pick them up, put them down again. And then look at them.
That's what Leonard's for. You tell him what you need moving.
No,
I'm not
because then
picking
he's
up
touched it.
And as Kiki says, Leonard has then touched it, and
Yeah.
That's what gloves are for.
you expect Leonard to wear gloves.
No.
Oh,
But
the
everybody
gloves are for
who's
you.
in contact with Leonard.
Everyone else wears gloves.
Yeah, to be honest, the amount of time that it would take to clean any valuables that Leonard has acquired before we can sell them, you could probably just earn the money in the same amount of time.
It's like a half-life of the debris from Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Is that like in a normal job?
What, dealing with the debris from Chernobyl?
Well,
Are you,
Or the debris from Leonard?
are you saying I don't have normal job?
what is your normal job?
Well, I suppose if you wanted to put it like that, then no, I don't have a normal job. I have patrons, however.
Ah, is that
They're
when
a
you
bit
get
few
paid
and
every
far
month
between.
when you put a leaflet up?
That's right. I get paid per thing, per leaflet. My patrons are a bit few and far between at the moment. I think I need some sort of an advertising campaign to try and drum up a few more.
So you need some funds to pay for some leaflets to inform your patrons.
I have heard of quite a good way of advertising my need for patrons. Actually, you take like seeds and throw them at people to attract their attention, and then yell the advert at them. I think it's called podcasting.
Jeez, Fish, that's
I made it through the
Even
whole
by my
run.
standards, that's fairly bad.
that is indeed pretty bad.
Made it through the last session's fight, and you're just causing me pain now.
And the bar has been set.
Yes.
That's okay, nobody trip over it.
Welcome to Pun Limbo.
Hello can go. Okay. So yeah.
So does that mean that you and Leonard are searching around the dais and looking for things around there while Lenore looks at the Maestro and...
Brunhilde has a habit of staying as far away from Leonard as she can possibly be without actually being in a different place to him. So
Opposite
whatever
side.
Leonard's doing, he's not doing it with Brunhilde.
No matter what it says on toilet walls.
If Leonard is also searching the dais, then I shall be searching the opposite side.
Right.
So I suppose that means that I'm trying not to tread on any ferrets while searching, because that would be similar. Maybe I'll leave the dais. If they're searching the dais, I'll search around the rest of
If you do step on some ferrets, it's fine. It's like sentient rollerblades.
Wow.
You're horrible.
So can I have some rolls, please, for people that are looking at the dice? And in fact, Drut, if you'd like to roll for searching the Maestro.
Does excellent vision just improves my vision in
Improves your distance of vision at night. No, that's night vision. It improves your distance of vision generally, including night vision.
Okay, so it doesn't affect my
No.
ability to find shit. Okay. Yeah,
It just means you can see it from further away. Chrono, when it comes to Leonard, there will be a lot of phrases you didn't particularly want to hear. Leonard being the only member of the
When it comes
party
to
voluntarily
Kiki,
going
there's
into
a
the
fair
sewers.
view.
I think possibly it was the sentient rollerblades.
Yeah, that's what I was
taking
assuming.
issue with.
I was going to say, Leonard's not exactly just a member of the party. He's also our greatest weapon.
Yes. And also your greatest generator of terror.
So the standard rules are that items that aren't deliberately hidden will be found automatically if you search the right area.
Correct.
Items that are hidden can be found on a successful test against initiative.
Also correct. So, initiative rolls from everyone that is doing searching.
Goodness.
Oh, Chrono, Leonard contravenes just about everything on the Geneva Convention just by existing. So, Drop, we'll deal with your searching of the Maestro first.
It's intelligence, isn't it?
It's the other one beginning with I, initiative.
Initiative. So 45. So 44, in fact, gets it.
Excellent. Okay, so
I'm not even using the fake dice on the outline today. They hate me so much.
His helmet was indeed strapped on, which is why it didn't come off when you cut him in half. Upon removing the strap to see who is under the helmet.
Yep.
You remember when you did all those fights at the underground fight club?
Is it the organizer?
It is,
Right.
or was.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Who's now
makes
incredibly
sense.
dead.
Comes unassembled.
His torso armour is completely rendered in twain by your cut, is useless. The helmet is still functional. It's quite an ornate design. Might be useful if it is to your styling. Likewise, his greaves are also intact, although a couple of tines have come off in the scrap.
I was about to say, well, I'm not necessarily stripping him, but actually, yeah, I am. If nothing else, the helmet is known amongst the cult as the face of the Maestro, so this might be useful. We don't know if the cult is independent, was working on its own, or if it had contact with anyone else. Anyone else dodgy in other towns or other parts of Middenheim. So it might be useful to keep as a disguise.
So you want to hang on to the helmet so that you can walk up to Woody and say you've got the perfect life.
Yes.
See what happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you ready to die?
I don't know. We're going to have a 2-hour philosophical discussion in the church.
Hey, Neo. What was hanging on a shoulder strap behind him that you couldn't see until now, when it's sort of lying beside it with the strap cut. You cut through him, the armour, the satchel strap. There's a small satchel bag, shoulder bag, roughly the size of a World War I gas mask bag.
Okay, it's got a man bag. Okay.
Which appears to have some bits and pieces inside it. Has some heft and weight to it.
Okay, I'm not actually going to go through that now. I will, however, see if I can reattach the strap as a shorter strap.
You could tie a knot in it.
Yeah. Knot that up and so I can get it carryable, because I don't feel the need to actually go through detail here. We can do that after we've got Sophia to the temple. Loot now, sort later.
His leg armour, much like his braces, is damaged from the attacks, because again, a couple of times got taken off the shin plates, but largely intact and serviceable. Tucked underneath his jack, there's a small coin pouch.
Right, hang on a sec.
And there's also a similar shape pouch, but with, although sort of full, it's distinctly less hefty. Almost feels like sand inside it.
He is in fact an import from D&D that's written with a sleep spell.
Oh, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Ouch.
Just out of interest, Fishy, can you read my DM notes from here? Now Hakim and Mijay, I remember those two.
Yes.
Right, so basically coin pouch with a sandy feel, pair of greaves, a evil cult leader's helmet, and a shoulder bag.
Yep.
What else was on the conveyor belt? Did you get the cuddly toy?
Well, no, he's got all the cuddly toys in his ferret bag.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I think Erdit has the cuddly toys covered.
I'm not sure any of those ferrets are particularly cuddly.
You could try cuddling them, but they are all combat ferrets.
Yeah.
It may get a bit scratchy.
Some of them are.
And I'm not talking about allergies here.
The surviving ferrets in there have all grown. I've read the rats. There's no way this can end well. If anything comes out as an albino with 2 heads, personally I say just set it free.
So,
you assume
Kiki,
that the... Go on.
can I have a initiative roll from you, please, around the dais?
Certainly. Now, if I recall correctly, initiative is the one stat on this sheet that does not actually roll when you click it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I believe it is, yes.
Maybe right.
Yeah, for
Okay,
some reason,
I will just
doesn't-
roll and hope to get under 64 then. Where is the die? There it is.
Well,
Oh, there we go.
Nicely done. Okay, so there are a couple of stone slabs in the dais just south of the centre part where Sophia was kneeling that are loose.
Oh.
In lifting those up, there's a small cavity underneath that appears to be caked with dried blood.
Wacko.
Nice.
I'm listening intently for the word book.
Nope.
I'm really glad I'm searching the
reaching-
bisected corpse. It's probably less gurky.
Reaching around inside there, just to make sure there are no books, you do find some dried objects about sort of that size.
Oh.
Hearts.
Well, if you can't find a fresh heart, dried is fine. But you will need to soak it overnight.
Oh dear, just add water.
Sorry.
Desiccated hearts.
Oh. Is that the sequel to the game that hopefully coming out this year? That's the Frozen.
I'm looking forward to you playing that.
I'm looking forward to me playing that.
Well, I don't actually have much interest in dried hearts. I guess I'll feed them to the ferrets.
He's now feeding his ferrets on human hearts.
That
That
have
cannot possibly go wrong.
been human hearts that have been used in demon summoning rituals.
Oh, well done, because the level of awful that was in there already was really too low and needed a bit of a boost. Chrono is golf clapping you. Come on!
Hey, if you guys want to throw me more plot points for the next story, that's fine by me.
Yeah, that's the GM's job, is to sit back and allow the players to write the plot for them.
When good ferrets go bad.
Something has chased the Skaven out of the sewers. Where are your ferrets?
Yeah, we've just rewritten the end
The
times.
new
Vermintide
Chaos
isn't rats,
Ferret Men.
it's ferrets.
Ferrets!
Hey, the rats have banded with the humans against the ferrets.
Yeah. The rats will come pouring up the sewers going, it's scary down there.
Which
Oh,
leaves me
man.
to move across to erstwhile Brunhilde, who's searching elsewhere.
Who's searching, around the walls,
Yep.
looking for anything.
So I'll have a, same as for the others, initiative check, please.
Initiative check.
Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap.
But only one panel at a time, for obvious reasons.
Okay. Well,
Whoa.
that's
Wow.
a roll of 17 against my initiative of 62, so that's just
So that's Fishy's one good roll for the evening. Done.
Yep.
about. Yep.
Let's hope you don't get into another fight.
That'll be the roll that doesn't count. The one that goes badly will be the one in the only location where there's anything to find.
Uh-huh.
So you're going around the room. Now you can pay more attention because you're not worried about what's going on the dais or the two guys trying to kill you. There's various chain loops connected to the wall, just a little bit higher than you would expect for chaining up of humans. Maybe the humans that they've been chaining up have been a little taller and possibly a little wider with longer arms, or possibly the chain loops are for something completely different. But there's a lot of them around the room.
You're kind of at wing height.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Wider with longer arms. Okay, yeah, so welcome to Innsmouth.
Or possibly, they're planned on getting Ivan down here.
Yeah, that's possible. They may have set this up for the pit fighters that they were wishing to hijack.
However, on checking these out, a slight trip over a loose stone, you grab hold of one for balance, and it comes away from the wall. And is connected to a cable going back into the wall.
Oh no.
We're either all about to die or I've found something.
And looking around, you can see exactly what it's going to trigger. There's a stone panel in the wall that's just got a little bit too much of a gap between it and the next panel.
Don't say trigger.
Right, don't nobody stand in front of that.
Right.
So yeah, stepping to one side, making sure nobody is in line of fire of the stone panel. In
Is
case it's
everybody
trapped
hiding
on a
behind
door.
the dais?
I think
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
And then pulling on the cable.
And as you pull, the door swings slowly, grindingly open.
And 3 demons come rushing out.
Nope.
Right. I will take a look through said door.
By the way, I should have shared this picture just so that Druck could be confirmed that it is... Wrong one. How does this work? Where's the sharing? There's the sharing.
Uh-huh.
Share sheet.
Oh,
So,
hello.
yes. Albrecht. The guy who was organising the fights, the guy who is underneath the Maestro mask.
Yeah.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
He's fairly chunky. He's not as big or brutish as the 2 Kislevites.
Well, no. I've played Blood Bowl against Kislevites and been hammered into the ground each time. So I can see
That's
that.
less because they're big and brutish and more because they do strange jumping around manoeuvres and kill you with them.
But yes, that is who is under the mask. So you've opened this
Right.
door, which has the corridor leading out from it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we need to check this out.
Well, what are the odds of it being an emergency exit?
There could be a way out. There's only one way to find out, is to go along it. And if it
Right.
leads to, say, further captives, we're going to need to know. So,
Absolutely. Are we done in here? Has everybody pretty much looted what they're looting?
well, I haven't found out to loot yet.
I think I've caused enough trouble.
There's an admission that normally takes 6 months of therapy.
There are 2 other corpses in the room that
Yeah.
may warrant looking at.
I'll probably better have a quick look over them then first. They might have, one or other of them might have a purse.
They both have purses.
Right, yes, I'll take leaflet funds.
And of course both also have a sword.
Not fussed about the sword.
Right.
If somebody else wants the sword, they're welcome to them, but I'll take the purses.
Okie doke.
I kind of have weapons coming out of my ears, so
And every other orifice, the amount of weapons you've got.
I will just add.
Yes, relieving of their
times
purses
2
is
to my,
no problem
character
whatsoever. Demo ferrets.
sheet.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask
At least
you.
you pronounced it right.
I'll count the contents later on. For now, I'll just take the 2 purses.
Yeah. I don't know about anyone else. I can't add to my inventory, so I'm just using my notes tab.
Oh,
You should be
fun.
able to. Just right-click on the inventory page and select Create Item.
Which isn't there.
Oh, one.
Should
The
be the
wonders
bottom
of
one that looks like a game of
fan-made
Tetris.
plugins.
Yeah, I know what it looks like.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. I'll close the character sheet, reopen, see if that kicks in a bit.
The quick check, it is there for me, but then as the GM it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Close the door. Open the door. Close the box. Open the box. So, aside from monies, anything else interesting Brunhilde's found that she's sharing with the group?
That's all Brunhilde's found.
Money's in a
A
door.
door and 2 purses of monies.
Yay, cash. Right, yes, the new item thing is back now.
Excellent. Good.
I'm not sharing the purses of monies. I'm just sharing the door.
Eventually you'll share the purses of monies.
Yeah, due to the
What a bet.
corpses,
Eventually, I will share them in that. I will share the leaflets that they will pay for.
yeah, due to the manner in
These
which the
are
corpses became
vital funds.
corpses, any armour that was on them is rendered largely useless, unless you want to spend the time repairing it.
No. No. Right, okay then. Right, chaps. In that case, somebody, Leonard, help Sophia. That's tying up the NPC.
Leonard
not
was
here.
already.
Leonard was already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking help her as in we're going down this corridor, bring her with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he
So-
was. He was attempting to get her out of the room at the point that you killed the Maestro, so he's kind of already.
Yeah, he's already
Got a
with
hold
her
of
and
her.
got her in tow, and
Okay, that's cool.
We tried our best to save her, but unfortunately Leonard touched her first.
Well, Leonard, bless him's in a bit of a state of shock, so if he can get someone survived out of this, that might bring him back.
Yeah, let's face it, Leonard has been in absolute downer city ever since the priestess turned up again.
Which was only a few hours ago.
Yes.
Indeed it was.
You don't get over trauma that easily. Right, okay, so I am going to pull my...
It's Over Trauma, it's the name that they're actually giving to Overwatch 2.
Ow. Okay. I'll take point, I suppose. Seems the most reasonable thing to do.
Right,
That seems like an excellent idea, yes.
who's taking the light?
I will carry the light. I can't do anything else while I'm carrying a light because I only have one hand, but I will carry the light because that way I don't have to do anything else.
Okay, Repetti has taken a light, so that way you can have a light at both ends of the chain. And taking point that the corridor is wide enough just to get one person down, pretty much the same as the previous corridors along the same region.
Okay.
It takes a few lefts and rights and very sharp, almost back on itself lefts. And
Not designed to be run down then.
no. Going through it, because you've got a light with you can see the state of the walls. Some of these very sharp lefts would actually have been maybe three-way or even four-way junctions with different bits,
Closed off.
but they've been closed up, completely walled up. And there's several segments like that, so there's a lot of blocked off tunnel in this area.
Okey-dokey.
So someone's gone to some
Well, we
effort
knew
to...
we were behind the area that's been kept open. We
Yes.
were headed, to get here, we headed out into the section that's supposed to be closed off.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god. I haven't got a hammer. Would you believe the one thing I don't have? I don't own a warhammer.
In a game of Warhammer, the character with all the weapons doesn't
Has
have
no
a...
warhammer.
oh, whatever.
Seems a little bit of an oversight.
It does, doesn't it? Yes, pit fighters are apparently allowed everything else, but they don't get a warhammer. Hey ho.
Well, I guess
Warhammers
cuts are
aren't
easier
really
to...
a pit type weapon, are
No.
they, to be honest.
No, but to be fair, neither's a two-handed sword.
That at least is
Speaking
arguable.
of Demogorgon, Stranger Things DLC for
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
Yes.
Yes, going to need that.
Yes.
I've watched it. It's very good. A friend of mine was playing it pretty much on day of release, trying to get a handle on how to play the Demogorgon.
Excellent stuff.
Very cool. Eventually, the corridor leads to
Dead by Daylight.
another door similar to the ones you'd encountered previously with the slidey bit in it.
Yeah.
The slidey bit at the door is already slid across, and you can see that behind the door, maybe 6 feet in front of it, is a wall.
Right. Is that wall a wall or is that wall a corridor? i.e. T-junction.
Looks like a wall from
Well,
what you can
until
see.
you open the door, you're not really going to be able to tell, are you?
Right. Do we think this is trapped? Because all the other doors like this have been trapped.
We have had some issues with traps, it must be said.
We have.
I'm
Remind me what the actual trap was that we accidentally triggered.
It was gas, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yes, it was.
It was
Right.
a Leonard trap.
Now, I'm just thinking about possibly kicking the door open, but I was thinking of doing it with holding my breath. So, should anything untoward happen, I wouldn't be instantly gassed and dead.
From what you can see, the door opens inwards towards you. So you'd be kicking against the hinges.
Yeah. Actually, kicking against the hinges is probably my métier at the moment. Not a straight fight. It's not been a straight fight. I don't like non-straight fights. I like normal fights.
Yeah, this has been anything but a straight fight from the
Yes.
get-go.
I feel the need to get some frustration out, and I'm going to take that frustration out on the door. And
Okay.
whoever might be standing behind it. Or cowering. Strength check?
Yes, please.
Is that going to be on a D6, or is that going to be on a 5 times or something?
It's 10 times and roll under.
It's
10
10
times,
times,
well
yeah.
Let's say 5 times. Because I'm thinking of the 3 to 18 in Call of Cthulhu, that's why.
Yes. Oh, when you know so many systems, they start bleeding into each other.
Yeah. $28. It's out of 50.
That's sufficiently strong enough to kick the door against its hinges. It's not so much the door giving way as the screws holding the hinges in place just pop out of the wood on this side, and the door flax round and sort of hangs
You could
limply
actually
against the
just
wall.
have taken the hinges off, you know. A few minutes doing the whole tap, tap, tap. But no, I'm that violent.
And much to your surprise and relief, there's no trap seeming to have been triggered. Nothing happens. No gas starts emitting from vents under the floor.
That is indeed handy.
No
Yep.
crossbow bolts coming out of holes in the wall.
No, we've all got a strange creature of darkness has suddenly appeared, but aside from that,
It's a ferret.
Oh dear.
your ferret's cosplaying as a cat. You realise that?
Yep. Hello, ferret, yeah.
And it is indeed a wall that was 6 foot beyond the door.
Okay. Nothing there. Just a 6 foot structure corridor and then a wall.
That's what it looks like.
Do we think that's a real wall, chaps?
Best check it in case there's another secret door.
Right. Somebody with better eyesight than me?
Right, initiative check, presumably.
Yes, indeedy. From those looking for
Right,
something that
so-
might be.
Somebody with
I have
higher.
got 62
Yeah.
initiative, so a roll of...
60.
What is that? A roll of 60.
Yeah,
It just about makes it, yeah.
sufficient. So, had the door been opened normally, both the wall and the door would have opened together. With the door having been kicked open rather brutally, the mechanism that did that, you
Is
can see
broken.
from looking at the framework in the door where there's a few wires hanging loose and buckled and bent bits of metal. It's busted.
You know you bust this, right?
Well, fix it.
See that rod there?
Yes.
Get hold of it, give it a shove, see what happens. When Hilda goes to sleep, all her friends go to sleep.
And with
Oh, so
that,
Nerdic goes to
sleep
sleep,
gas
all the
hisses through the
ferrets
corridor. No.
All those little ferrets go to sleep. Okay, yes, I will follow Brunhilde's directions
And lo and
attempt to
behold-
manipulate the mechanism.
The corridor that had ended in a wall, now that wall is a door and grinds open.
Heard it needs a mystical ferret organ.
I mean, you just hit them in the right order.
So we're going to rename you Conrad, was it?
Yes.
Conrad the Barbarian.
No, Conrad something.
Yeah, I know what
The
you mean.
Monty Python,
Oh,
I think it was Gilliam
Yeah.
sketch.
Yes, I think
Ah,
with
no,
ferrets,
well,
in fact.
It was Jones, in fact, playing the character who was playing mice or ferrets or something like that with a hammer.
I can anticipate that being incredibly difficult to keep in tune.
quite pro-
But
Hey,
that's your
Chrono agrees it
priority
was nice.
scares me. Okay.
So, yeah, the door
yeah, exploring
opens
down.
into a darkened area.
Ta-da!
So, little light, please. Little Brunhilde.
Are you implying something? Standing there being little, holding a light.
Well, you could give me a lot of light if you wish, but that would mean setting fire to Leonard.
I'm
just
not
the gases
sure
that
it's,
burn.
Oh, great! And now I have a vision of him standing there like Johnny Bloody Storm. Don't worry, it's merely my exterior coating that burns off.
No, I think that you cannot manage to get the fire triangle with Leonard.
Yeah,
Because I think
oxygen.
once you get close enough to Leonard, yeah, there's just no oxygen. You can provide heat, you can provide fuel, but you just can't get oxygen that close to Leonard.
See, I'm keeping one eye on chat because if Jit comes in, we've got so many apologies to make.
Why? We say these things about Leonard when he's here. Why should we not
This
say
is
them
true.
when he isn't?
This is very, very
This
true.
is indeed true. Okay. Right.
Just quickly
It's
check
really
Discord,
bloody
see if he's-
competent member of the party.
So, bringing light into the darkened area.
Right.
This door has opened up into the area where you had been conducting your illegal underground fights. You're in
Not
the
a
fighting
shock.
arena.
Not a shock indeed. Less concerned then about bumping into occasional
Question, I'm
humans.
trying to remember. I remember that was underneath a tavern.
Yep.
Was the guy organising the fights the tavern keeper? Or
He was.
somebody
It
different?
was.
Hey, guess what? We own a tavern.
Well,
I'm not sure that we have the documentation. I'm fairly sure killing the owner doesn't automatically grant
So,
us right to inheritance.
I'm
Mr.
pretty.
Rapetti, how much of a cut of our profits does it take for you to obtain us the documentation to say we own this tavern?
That's
Well-
incredibly dishonest, there's thought.
well, you can see a lot of thoughts running through his head.
Mostly
A
with
lot of
numbers.
thoughts.
Crowns, primarily.
Ching, 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 ching. If you can find the original documents for his ownership, I can arrange a transfer that is completely legal.
Well, I think once we've got Sophia
Sophia.
in the temple, we'll have to come back and have a look.
That's me.
This has real potential, this does. Could spread the word with the tavern.
Think of all the window space. You can
Yep, leaflets behind the bar. Plaques! Not even leaflets, plaques on wall!
I can certainly put the word about a change in management and make it very public that you have taken on ownership from Albrecht, who has sadly had to leave town
We
quite
could,
urgently.
we could rebrand it, like, not a tavern so much now as a meeting hall for
With
those
alcohol.
with a social conscience.
With
We could-
alcohol.
perhaps some kind of
Obviously, with alcohol.
gastro hub.
I suppose downstairs we could, yes, indeed, community centre. We could arrange for, instead of the highly illegal and extremely dangerous pit fights, we could arrange for training bouts with safety equipment.
Would people
Yeah.
pay for that?
I've no idea what safety equipment is. I thought that was just armour.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. But it's how you phrase these things. Come
Well,
on,
we'll
I
have
thought
to
yours
talk
was
about
one
that
big
because
word.
I was more thinking, I must admit, that would make for a grand hall for giving lectures about important issues.
You're not going to be lecturing every hour the gods send.
Obviously not. That's
Therefore-
why I will need to take on additional staff.
I don't think that confining something to a single use is necessarily going to be the most profitable way of going about these things.
And
you
there
have
we
to find
go
that.
again. That's the reason why things are so bad, because people are more interested in profit than what's good for them and their neighbours and their fellow people.
To be
We
fair,
of the Empire need to be less concerned with profit and more concerned with each other's well-being.
to
he
be
says,
fair,
not
Brunhilde.
mentioning the fact that she's pocketed those coins
Yes.
and telling you
To be fair, Brunhilde, you're going to need those profits in order to finance both any extra help you take on and, say, hiring engravers to make those plaques you're so proud of. Possibly even
it's a
setting
big
up your own
project. It's
printing
going
press.
to need a lot of
So
money.
exactly, yes. This is going to be
That's right. That's what we can put in cellar. That's where the printing press will be.
possibly that's more of a back office job than the printing
It's a
press
big
in the
room.
cellar.
We can split it up. We can have an office and a printing press down there.
I mean,
Well, there is a built-in audience, you see, for those who came for the fights.
if you're that worried about the fights, I have a suitable selection of candidates for a smaller fighting arena.
We are not having a battling ferret.
Ferret fighting.
God.
I suppose we could theoretically have that as a pub game upstairs, sort of a table with a low wall around it, just to keep
Oh, they'd
them
eat through
from...
that.
No, because the idea is that you only put them in. Exactly, live instruction.
It's
So, no,
instruction of
it's all
staying
about
alive.
its perception of what we do. It's the optics of the situation. This is how it works.
Optics haven't been invented yet. We have to actually pour from bottles.
Oh,
All it's going to take is a
God.
genius dwarf to find an easier way to get his whiskey.
That's true. Yes. We just need some dwarves.
Okay, so are you implying that A, that dwarves are alcoholic, and B, are they reliable customers?
Dwarves are indeed alcoholic, but they're also this universe's inventors. Very much.
Yes,
So
they are indeed.
they're the
And
ones who have created that magnificent array of semaphore engines stretching across the empire in order to transmit news from major settlements. to other
Okay.
That are totally not clackers, honest.
did not know that actually.
crackers.
Oh, clackers. Right, yes. Having been
Sorry.
reminded that yes,
Bit
while
of
we're
Pratchett creeping in
planning
there.
this, poor old Sophia is standing there swaying gently to the breeze of her own private music,
Exactly, yes.
which I think at the
I don't think
moment
it's
is
her
probably
private music anymore. I think it's somebody else's private music. and
Yeah.
that somebody has rather more teeth.
yes, which at the moment I think is playing the Omen theme over and over again in her head.
Quite possibly.
Ask Pippin what he thinks. And
He doesn't think. He's thinking.
I always thought that Pippin did think, just every thought was food.
That's possible. Yeah, I don't think that's actual thought though. That's just his autonomic nervous system focused entirely on filling his job.
Must
being
be the
good.
host.
right, so let's get Sophia to the temple. We can come out through here. There's bound to be a key upstairs.
I don't suppose you found. I was going to say I don't suppose you found any keys on him when you searched him.
I didn't. I'm hoping that he wouldn't necessarily have. Although I haven't gone through his satchel yet. I'm going to go through his bag.
Okay, rummaging through his bag, one of the side pockets does indeed have a small key ring on it, which has 3 or 4 different keys.
Oh.
Inside the satchel, there's this sort of squidgy mess inside its own little bag that's about that sort of size.
No, you cannot feed that to your ferrets.
I wasn't going to ask. Definitely.
Oddly, it's kind of warm.
Oh, but it's still...
Hang on,
Never mind.
who's missing? Who have we lost recently? Hang on. Has anybody checked Sophia's chest?
I'm really not that way inclined. Leonard might have.
I did specify that she looked decidedly unharmed.
Yeah. Looked, yes, but you know, she's wearing a dress that ends up to there.
She's now Sophia Prime.
I was assuming a reasonable check of looking for wounds, looking for bloodstains, So
that's fair enough.
at a cursory glance, it's not going to be. Also, it's kind of too big to be a young girl's. It's more adult sized.
While Lenore is checking the satchel, by the way, Brunhilde is going to have a quick buzz round the place to make sure that there's nobody here. We may have had other members of staff in the tavern, that sort of thing.
Oh, checking around
Is there an
upstairs.
upstairs, for example? Yeah.
Yeah.
just
There was an
quick
upstairs.
look around,
You
make
never
sure
went
that-
upstairs, but there was an upstairs. You only ever went to the kitchen and the main beer hall, and then the underground where the fights were happening, which is where you are now. So no, the pub is, as you go upstairs, you hear nothing, no sounds of people moving around, no sounds of talking. When you get upstairs, it's closed. The door's got a big bar across it, so there's no one coming through it.
Mm-hmm.
A quick sweep through the kitchen shows there's no staff around. In the back area, out of one door of the kitchen, there's stairs going up, which leads to a number of living rooms, bedrooms, toilet, restroom, that kind of thing. Again, no people.
Okay, cool. We've got our headquarters now, guys.
Not yet, we haven't. We have to find the paperwork first. However, what we have is the keys.
Worst case, we'll write some.
That would probably cost you more from Repetti, but unless any of you guys can forge paperwork.
I'm suddenly thinking that the next XPs I get are going towards forger.
What, change of profession to...
I don't think there is a forger profession, but one of my career exits is charlatan. If you can't get forgery from charlatan,
Yes.
which you probably can't actually, because I think it's more about the spoken stuff. But it might be the right direction.
Maybe judicial
This
challenge.
might be a good excuse to pick charlatan as my next career.
It was Greta I was thinking of. I couldn't
Yes,
remember.
I thought it was.
Yeah, we were still missing her. Oh well. Mind you, she was a bit good. And, I
No,
don't need a
counterfeiter
rifle.
is its own profession. In fact.
Oh right, is it exit from yours?
I suspect it's an advanced profession, so one beyond at least.
Yeah.
Although counterfeiter is specifically for coins, so haven't found anything for forging documents yet.
Interesting.
Okay. One wonders if scribes can.
I will check the skill list and see if there's one in there, but it's not relevant right now.
No, indeed.
As I said, though, just having checked that the place is empty, if Dutch found some keys so we can lock up. Although, if there's a bar on the door, is there also a keyhole? Is there an actual mechanical lock? Or
There
just...
is.
Good.
It's one of the keys, if I
Otherwise, you
recall,
could never leave the place without going through the secret door.
works for me. It has a convenient fire escape, subterranean fire escape.
Is that what that is?
It
That's
is.
purely a health and safety consideration.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Leading to a basement with Gothic decorations.
All of a sudden, Lenore's moved to estate agent.
Yes.
I've been reading listings a chunk today. Okay.
Assuming that this place has a functioning bar, I shall get everyone what they really need, which is a stiff drink.
Yes.
You reckon a nice stiff one before we head out into the...
That does sound remarkably like a plan.
Okay. It's everybody... Shots for everyone.
Okay, while you're pouring the shots, this somewhat childlike voice from stood very near to Leonard. Who are you?
Oh, hello, Sophia.
Hey, Oblog, we're friends of your father.
Who?
Yes, good
What?
point.
Where am I?
You're safe and you're going back home soon. We just need to make sure that you're not hurt. So we're going to take you to see the nice people at the Temple of Shadia. And see
Who are you?
whose soul is inhabiting. Who are you? Who are we? Well, this one's Brunhilde. How old is the kid? She's
Hello.
about 12, isn't
12.
she?
9 or 10, if I remember rightly. 10, something like that.
Yeah, so the one you're eye to eye with, that's Brunhilde. Deny it if you can. and she's ever so nice. And the smelly one next to you is Leonard. He's all right. And I'm the naught. And you've had a bad experience, and we've saved you. What's the last thing you can remember?
People?
Sorry?
Are you the scary people?
No, very
No,
not.
well,
Okay.
well, she's a bit scary, but we're not.
Keep it simple. No, there were some scary people, and they were trying to hurt you, and we stopped them hurting you. So no, we're not the scary people.
Okay.
Erdic,
There's
give her a
absolutely no
ferret to play with
questioning or.
something.
One of the bitey ones, or
No. There's got to be one in there that it's half asleep all the time.
this one's a bit mauled. It's probably a bit more sedate. It's lost a lot of blood. It'll do. Here we go.
I don't care. If it's unconscious, that's even the better. Give it something to cuddle.
I'll
Small
throw a
children-
half-injured ferret over.
Small children like cuddly things. Look, this is a nice ferret. This is called Friedrich. Look after Friedrich, because he's nice and he likes cuddles.
Okay. There's absolutely no questioning of anything that she's been told.
Yeah.
Just
She's
completely accepting it and.
She's either deeply traumatized or she's going to sprout fangs, wings, and claws any minute.
Yes. She's asking all these questions because she's never actually been in the old world before.
Yeah.
Isn't used to being this short. And is wondering where her other 4 arms have gone.
Oh, fantastic! Thanks. I wasn't feeling that worried.
I am
yay.
loving the levels of suspicion and paranoia creeping in.
Yeah. And what's my solution to the situation? Give her a ferret.
I have marked the ferret off my list.
You might get that one back. You never know. Unless she does
You
sprout
never know.
teeth and claws and wings and decides to eat it.
I mean, it's been given a name and presented to a child. Do you think I'm getting it back?
Yeah, so there was that one on outside cafes. Unaccompanied children will be given 3 espressos and a puppy, which I've actually seen in the wild. It may have started as a meme, but you can't argue with logic. We're suspicious types. We are
Yes,
basically.
yes, you are incredibly suspicious.
Yeah. And
I don't
We
know
are
why.
very suspicious types, yes. We're also suspicious of other people.
Yeah.
Goodness
That's why-
knows what's given us reason to be suspicious at this point.
It's okay.
It's not like you've been double-crossed and fed a load of bum information. And, oh, wait, no. You
Yeah,
have.
we really did take that personally, didn't we?
Well,
Or by we, I mean Brunhilde.
Brunhilde did, yes. Yes, that was mob levels of I don't like being crossed.
Yes. Oh my God, Brunhilde's going to found a family. Capital F.
Capital F. Quite possibly.
Oh dear God, mafiosi halflings.
I can see it happening. And you are in the Tillian sector.
I know. So yeah, you're going to need something approaching the Godfather music.
Having a lot of trouble finding a career path that will let me go to Forger. It's very annoying. My best bet is to go to Thief.
There you go.
Ah! Of course, you had that queued up for the petty, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my best bet at the moment is actually to go back to a basic rogue career. Because it's going to be the quicker way of getting to Forger if I want to get there.
Fair enough. Right. If you're all right to walk, we're going to go for a little walk now. Take you to the Temple of Shalia. Well, they'll look after you. They'll give you the once over and check that, everything's where it's supposed to be, including your soul. And then we'll take you back to your father, who's probably very upset and has been really, really worried about you ever since you disappeared. Don't happen to remember anything about that, do you?
No.
Right. Okay. Right. Does the door to downstairs lock?
Yes,
Right. Okay. Is that one of the keys I've got?
it is.
Okay. I'm going to lock up the basement from upstairs because we don't need people wandering down and finding the emergency exit until I've managed to get the door fixed. Oopsie. Then yeah, I would say that we need to head out to the Temple of Shalia sooner rather than later.
Yep.
That's just a march up to the other side of the city.
Yeah. Rapetti, would you do me the courtesy of sending a messenger to Sophia's father?
I can arrange that. I won't be accompanying you up to the temple.
No, I didn't think that was really your part of town.
No, not at all.
No. That would be a service then we would very much appreciate. And let him know that organically she is unharmed. And
I'll let him know that she seems fine, but you're taking her to the temple to be sure.
Exactly.
That's what I'll tell him.
Good.
The organically unharmed worries me, and I don't want to worry him.
Good point.
He's a nice man. He's had a lot of trouble. I don't want to give the guy a heart attack.
No, that would be levels of irony beyond. Right. Okay. Brunhilde, you're going to have to start thinking up under new management signs.
Aye.
Maybe we could use the back of your leaflets. Or buy some new paper.
We could do that. When I get me new leaflets printed, I'll get some signs printed at the same time. It'll all be grand.
Right. Okay. In that case, I will unbar the door.
Okay.
We could just paint under new management on the side of the wall, and then not only is it informative for the start, but once we're fully set up and operational, it's a good gimmick and people will know us.
Aye.
We could.
Okay, I'm going to assume that the careers list in the back of the rulebook is correct, rather than the careers themselves being correct.
Is there a printing difference?
Because in neither the printed copy or the PDF can I find a single career with the exit forger. Every single career that I have checked in the list of career entries for forger doesn't list it.
Does that mean you have to forge your way into the career forger?
Yeah, I think there is actually no career, if you read the descriptions, that will let you become a forger.
That's impressive.
So we'll just have to use the ones
Scribe.
from the summary,
Yeah.
the career summary
Scribe.
at the back.
Scribe,
In which case there's
which-
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
The
the
scribe
summary at the
actually
back
do it.
gives a scribe.
Are you on different
Thief.
editions? Or different printings, rather?
Possibly on different printings.
Because I think one of you's got hardback and one of you's got paperback, haven't you?
I've got both.
Or have you? God, there's always one.
Go. I only got this. This is the Cubicle 7 paperback. That's off of my hand. Yeah. I may have got the wrong copy of the PDF open.
Fair enough.
Maybe there may be a different version of the PDF that has it.
Yeah, the version of the PDF that I have shows Thief and
Yeah,
Scribe.
Scribe does actually. Ironically, Scribe is the only thing that seems to show Forger as a career exit. Guess what isn't in the list of career entries for Forger?
Scribe!
Correct. Because I did think that's odd. Why could you not become a Forger from a Scribe?
Yeah.
But according to the career entries list on Forger, you can't. However, I found nothing else that actually allows you to become a Forger as yet. Including, for example, counterfeiter, which is supposed to let you become a forger according to the list in the mag, but does not list forger in its career entries actually in the book.
So, guys,
In this
proofreading. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Interestingly, Forger lets you become a counterfeiter. But counterfeiter doesn't let you be...
Counterfeiter doesn't let you become a forger.
Yeah.
It's supposed to, according to the list at the back, though. So.
Yeah,
Just for a second, my brain went, why does it let you become an accountant? And then it came out to accountant fitter.
The feeling I have 2 copies of this PDF. I need to make sure that I'm using the more up-to-date one.
Yeah. Thief and Scribe will get you to
Be the one from
Forger.
Yeah, and I think Thief is one of your normal career exits, isn't it, Fish?
No, but it's a base.
Oh, it's a basic one.
So you can switch
I can
across.
become one because I can become any basic.
I'm now rethinking what I was thinking for my career exit, because I was going to go judicial champion.
Has something happened to change that?
Not necessarily. It's just that we may be having more practice bouts in the cellar than normal.
Where are you
Winner
thinking
stays
now?
on. Yeah, nothing else fits, however.
Okay.
So I'm definitely not becoming an outlaw chief.
You potentially have a ready-made cult.
Yeah, can we hold off the C word? I'm getting twitchy now.
You've got the master just take on the mantle.
True. That's more of a cult leader than outlaws, though. I mean, outlaws, jolly fellows who sit around in woods roasting local wildlife over open fires. Indeed, Chrono.
Hashtag not a cult.
Yes, I have stuck the links actually to that in our server in the Could Be Anything.
I'll have to go and have a butcher's of that. So, Rapetti is off to get a messenger sent to... oh god, I've forgotten his name now. Oh, that's embarrassing. I hate when my memory just blanks on
things. It was Enzo, wasn't it? Ezio, sorry.
It was one of those.
So let's just wander into every tavern and just tell them their daughter's not dead.
Yeah.
No, we know the tavern name. That's the Grey Lord. We got that one.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember the guy's name. And you guys are taking Sophia through the streets, or you're going to go through the sewers and stay out of sight?
I was assuming through the streets.
Okay.
Through the streets. Because...
don't wish to go through the sewers if I don't have to.
Yeah, also, I'm reasonably sure that most of the people who wish her ill, specifically, are currently going to prove a health hazard in the basement. Although, hopefully the rats will deal with them. We should be able to take her. But it's going to be, as far as I'm concerned, formed up as an escort. So she's got Leonard on one arm.
Yeah.
Guiding her.
Leonard is basically guiding and coaching her along, because without being coached forwards, she just wouldn't move.
Yeah.
She's really still, although she's now spoken, she's really not there.
Yeah.
So put simply, she's done with existence now. She's had Leonard on one arm.
I'm going to have as close a word with Leonard as I can. If anything happens and somebody takes umbrage and gets violent, I want you to take her away from the fight, turn her face to a wall and talk soothingly at her. Definitely don't let her look.
Right.
Poor kid's already traumatized.
I'll keep her safe.
Right. The whole, unless it's the whole teeth, claws and wings thing, in which case we'll bet her off anyway. Right. So yes, so I'll take the front. Leonard on her left arm, I would assume.
I'll stand behind.
Yeah. Everyone feels safe with her standing behind them.
Yes, because he's only going to throw the ferrets in front of him.
Exactly. And yes, Sophia in the middle with Friedrich. And Brunhilde to her right.
Okay.
Which leaves Brunhilde's mace arm free.
Free to brandish leaflets at people.
Well, there is that.
Yes.
Either leaflet arm or mace arm.
I have this wonderful image of Brunhilde fighting Chinese vampires with leaflets. Just smack it on the forehead.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah, I can sort of see that. Oh dear. Okay,
Sorry.
so yes, let's move. We will go through the streets then. Let's bring up the actual picture of the city because I've got windows layered in front of it.
Right, bear with me. I shall provide you a map because I've got a whole list of images here. Some of which should be city maps. There we
Yeah,
go.
there's the
Middenheim.
city map, the coloured one, which is the backdrop.
There is. There's the not coloured one that has some markings on it showing some locations.
Uh-huh.
So you guys are down around where the big cluster of arrows is, down bottom right,
Yes. Down
because that's where the bloody tusk is that you're leaving.
Yes,
as I
we need
recall,
a new name for that.
Yes.
By the way, that will be getting a new name.
as I recall, the temple is up around. I will get used to using this. Up around this kind of area here,
Okay.
up near the palace district, I think.
Quite possibly.
Tell
I
me
know
what-
it's sort of north side of the city. I can't remember if it's Palace District or Grasmund or Garden. It's
Okay.
around that area somewhere. So you've literally got to go right across the park and through big areas of the city.
Right. Yeah. Most direct route, I think.
On the map that is being used as wallpaper in Fantasy Grounds, it's number 38.
Aha.
It's very small.
Yeah.
See if I can find a.
Got a copy.
Tell you what, let's try this one.
More visible.
Yeah, I was going to say that's actually.
Warhammer City map.
Oh, hello. Wow. Okay.
So, 30. Yeah,
38. He said.
No, this is a French
Well,
version.
This is
Oh, okay.
different.
Yeah.
39 on this one.
Yep. Temple de Chalier.
Directly above Port West.
So, yeah, it is indeed.
South Garden?
It's in the Street Garden district.
Yep. There it is.
Okay.
So, you guys are headed. I will get used to sending these things. There, that's where you guys are headed.
Okay, that's cool.
From. You know where you are, so
Yeah.
you're not going through the park, but there is a very nice main road. Once you get through Altmark, there's a nice big old main road that runs right up to it.
Yeah, we will take that. With Lenore looking as menacingly as menacing as she reasonably can, without actually having her sword out.
Well, Lenore is quite good at looking menacing because, despite
Yes,
her
Lenore.
5'5" frame,
She looks 6'6".
she carries herself with the demeanour of someone who is 6'6",
Yeah,
and
she
thus
carries
has
herself.
a stay the heck away aura that goes out to about 12 feet.
Yep, yeah, she lives semi. Projection. Okay. So yes.
So aside from some odd glances, given
Mhm.
the nature of your procession,
Oh yeah.
you are not accosted in any way on that long walk across the city.
Good. Are we passing any vendors? Sort of street stalls
You're going through the Altmarkt, so there's going to be vendors
Go through the
just
Altmarkt.
going through the Altmarkt.
Brunhilde, you've got the wherewithal to buy the child something, I don't know, to drink with huge amounts of sugar in it.
Bloody tavern.
Yes, last I checked, they didn't tend to have any child-friendly beverages.
I mean,
I'm not
anything's
sure what
child friendly
mean
if you
by
want it to be.
child-friendly beverage, to be honest. What do you want, milk?
Milk or fruit juice or something loaded with sugar.
Fruit juice? Do you think I'm made of money?
Cider.
It's a fruit.
Oh, I've had conversations with Americans that confuse me over cider. Yes, milk would be fine.
Okay, I'll see if I can buy some child-friendly beverage.
I'm just thinking the poor kid's been kept in captivity, nearly sacrificed, and the least we could do is get her a drink. It's a long walk.
I'll take the opportunity while doing this to pay for it out of one of the 2 purses that I just picked up, so I can count it while I'm there.
That's the other reason actually I asked you, because I knew you had the extra cash. Lenore doesn't though. Lenore just did it because you were on that side of the road. And the alternative is to send Erditch shopping.
Hey, I could get drinks.
Yeah, you missed the child-friendly bit, didn't you? Right.
So the 2 purses both had 3 crowns in.
So that's 6 crowns in total.
That is indeed 6 crowns in total.
It's not too shabby.
That is not at all. That puts me up to 14 crowns, feeling positively rich.
It's 4 more than I've got.
So what is it going to cost
Trying
me
to find
buy
a-
a child-friendly drink?
I'm trying to.
I'm willing to bet that the equipment list will not contain child-friendly beverage.
No. Funnily enough, it doesn't.
How hard is it to say milk?
Just get like an IPA or something.
If you come back with a Bud Light, then frankly I'll just swear at you or something.
It's child-friendly. It's a light.
No, it's nobody friendly, it's Budweiser.
I can't find. Excuse me. I'm having trouble finding any sort of drink in the book at the moment.
Page 293, there is a subsistence box.
Just
containing
as I found it,
food
yes.
per day, ale per pint, things like that, but there's not a great deal on it.
Yeah.
What, say 9pence the same as an ale, maybe?
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Keeps it simple. Grain flavoured water. Sugar water flavoured with a tropical nut. But yes, yeah, 9pence will get you
Right, there we go.
some milk.
Cool.
Give
I
it a
didn't
try.
think that was an unreasonable suggestion.
A child-friendly beverage.
Yes.
I'm still tickled by the milk. Child-friendly beverage will be pursued.
Oh, I'm glad my phraseology amuses you. I'm running next week.
And probably so will we be.
Yeah. It does, yes. Witch malt, definitely.
It does.
Yeah,
And if it
I
isn't,
think
it is now.
it sounds like one of the modern trends towards real ales to me. Witch malt is probably the new one from Hobgoblin.
Yeah, true.
I feel like we could sell it at the tavern
I
quite
think you
easily.
probably could, yes.
Oh my
word.
god, he's going to want to do an artisanal brewery out
Oh,
back.
Yes.
Microbrewery.
Yes!
Our community centre will have a microbrewery and sell artisanal ales.
Better than artisanal cheese, I guess, Fish.
Don't give him
No, I
ideas. He can't even buy a cup of milk without, needing to call it beer.
So upon arriving at the temple of now, is it Shalia or Shalaya? I can never remember which way it's supposed to go.
I've never heard any definite confirmation from anybody involved in writing the game tell me. I've always pronounced it Shalia.
Yeah.
We'll go with Shalia. It's simple. You are greeted by a. Oh god, my brain's lost all the words.
Right, 3 steps.
Initiate.
Acolyte, initiate. Right.
Welcome. May we be of service to you?
This young lady has had an extremely troubling experience. We need to speak to somebody who has some experience experience in spiritual and physical healing.
Can you be a little more specific?
Not in the open.
Come inside.
Thank you.
All of you, please.
Yes, we're staying together. Demons may be involved. Okay, can I just check? People know demons exist, but they're really rare.
Correct.
Right.
It is
okay.
chaos mutations that have been confirmed as being
Non-existent.
non-existent and fictitious.
Officially don't exist.
Yeah.
Have you making a note of this, Fish?
I've already got my list of leaflets, so I've got my first 6
I think you've got the next 4 there.
products already.
Yep. Okay.
The initiate takes you into the temple and ushers you into one of the side rooms. Please
Thank
wait
you.
here. I will get one of our priestesses to attend you shortly. Is there anything specific I should be informing her of?
Brunhilde, not Brunhilde, Lenora's going to slightly step away from the group.
There is a possible case of demonic possession.
Yes, I was trying to be a little more subtle than that, thank you.
Okay, she
But we
pales
don't
slightly
at
at
all
the...
about demonic possession, so we wouldn't know.
We don't know quite what they were doing, but the people who were assaulting her were responsible for a certain amount of demon activity, and they were definitely engaged in something magical involving
Yeah.
the altar in the glowing blue fog.
Candles, and we're doing an awful lot of chanting.
Yes.
I see.
Since they're not around to answer the question.
Then they did an awful lot of bleeding after that, and we retrieved the child.
I see.
Subtlety,
That's-
not your middle name, is it, Brunhilde?
That's quite some tale.
Says woman with sword bigger than she is.
Please stay seated here. I shall get one of the priestesses to attend you as soon as possible.
I'm not sitting down, because if you ever try sitting down with a 6-foot sword on your back. Yes, a blade called Dignity.
Okay.
And now I need to rewrite some Deacon Blue.
So you have just nudged me in the direction of possibly rewriting it for Spelljammer.
Excellent, I can go with that.
So it's a few minutes later that a slightly better dressed member of the clergy from the temple comes into the side room that you've been ushered into. I'm told I can be of assistance to you. You have a young child in need of attention?
Yes, young Sophia, we have recently, as in a couple of hours ago now, pulled off an altar where she was about to be sacrificed by a gentleman with cult leader written all over him in big letters. We know he's been responsible for at least some demon activity, and frankly we'd just like to check that she's the only one in there.
Cult leader, you said. Can you be a little more specific?
Yes. Went by the name of...
Could you look her over and make sure that she's all right, both mentally
Of
and
course.
physically? She
Exactly.
was kidnapped. They were performing unspeakable rites. We don't know anything about unspeakable rites. We're guessing, but we do know they definitely have been summoning demons lately, so we assume it was something to do with them.
I had heard rumours.
Yes. Talking of which,
We've done more
reaching
than her
into...
rumors, we've met the bloody things.
Yes, reaching into the satchel that, of course, she's still carrying.
Yep.
I'm going to pull out the squashy warmish bag, which is less warm now we've been for a long walk.
Oh, how lovely. You've got a souvenir.
My squashy warmish bag will squeak delightedly.
This used to belong to the gentleman who was performing the said unspeakable
You
rites. We're
cut
fairly...
his heart out?
It's not his.
No, I think when
His
she
as
meant
in
it
was in his
belonged to
bag.
him,
Oh.
she meant it was in his possession.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
I
The
think
colour
I know.
returns slightly to her cheeks at this point.
No, I didn't cut anything out of anything.
So it was cut out of somebody else at an earlier point.
Exactly, yes.
Hilda
and
smiles
recently-
broadly.
Yes, and recently.
Recently, you say?
Well, it was warm when I discovered it.
May I?
Is that normal?
Can. I'll pass it over. I believe it belonged to a woman called Greta.
I see.
Oh, piece of information that you might want to know. Just out of general interest, I don't know if you are aware of a young lady called Matilda, who is a member of your church.
Good
Yes.
point.
They killed her
I see.
earlier today, actually, so you may not know she's dead yet, but you do now.
Actually, weren't they arranging the transport of her body back
Yeah.
to the temple?
Oh,
She has
Yeah.
arrived with us.
Yeah. Yes, same gentleman.
I see.
He's not going to be sacrificing anybody else.
Well, given that sacrifices have been involved, I will see that this is put somewhere very, very safe. I shall then return and look at the young girl. Please give me a few moments.
Yes.
And
if
she
it-
takes the
yeah.
wrapped heart and disappears off out of the side room.
Yeah, you see, I'm thinking if it's still warm at this stage, then for all I know, then, there's a demon wandering around.
it will remain warm forever.
It's not been desiccated yet. Desecrated, yeah.
Desecrated, yeah.
Well
Yeah.
and truly desecrated, but it hasn't been desiccated yet.
Yep, desecrated coconut.
Yeah,
We
good old
get
desecrated
suspicious.
coconut, yeah.
If she returns with additional arms.
Yeah.
If she comes back wiping her mouth, we get suspicious.
See, now I'm tempted to have her do just that.
Yes, I only drink wine. Uh-huh. Okay.
She's gone maybe 5-10 minutes, then comes back.
It's a ritual secure storage.
Ritual secure storage, yes.
Yes.
May I ask, please, if you could leave the room so that I can look over the child's injuries?
Absolutely.
You may
Okay,
stand just
do
outside
that.
the door. No harm will come to her here. Not in
Good.
this temple.
Yes.
I just want
Okay.
some privacy for her.
Right, we will physically disattach Leonard.
That may take a little effort.
Yes.
He has been very, very attached to her.
Yeah.
Ever since the encounter in the sacrificial chamber.
Yeah.
I'm
This
sure
one.
they can persuade him, though. They're Matilda's ilk.
Yes. This one he could help save. So yeah, we'll escort him outside, and we'll all stand there looking really, hospital waiting room where you've not quite got comfortable enough chairs to sit, and there's nothing to actually read except knitting magazines and issues of Cosmo from 8 years earlier.
It's almost like you've been in a hospital recently.
We're all sat there like poring over a copy of Woman's Own.
I mean, there's you guys literally fresh out of a scrap, probably still
Yeah.
sweaty, slightly bloody, sat in the Temple of Shalia like almost like the usual suspects been picked up for a lineup at the police station.
Give it
Wondering
time.
what's going to happen
The
next.
player characters.
Well, yeah.
So taking in what's going on around, there appears to be a little bit of a bustle over in one other, almost the opposite corner from where you are.
Okay.
A little bit of bustle of attention from what, judging by their attire, would be some of the higher-ranking priestesses.
Huh.
But aside from that, there's initiates and acolytes going around doing what seem to be fairly menial tasks, cleaning up, making sure that everything's in the right place. A couple of them come past and ask if you're okay and if you'd like some water.
Yes. Would you like a cup of tea? Is it from
Maybe
the
some
machine?
Kool-Aid.
Never mind. Yeah.
Are we allowed the communion water?
They offer water. They don't specify whether it's communion water or not, just water. Probably the purest water in the whole of the city, to be honest.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, absolutely. We'll bottle that stuff.
If you have any empty bottles, you could. There's a chance it might classify as holy water.
You never know.
You never know.
Worth a try.
Hmm. When you said that you were titling this Mercenaries of Middenheim, I didn't quite anticipate it was mercenaries as in Giz Cash of Middenheim. I thought it might be mercenaries as
Might
in
be a legend.
sellswords.
Well, I was
That's
leaving
a
that
sort of
decision to
help.
you guys.
Yeah, we're going into business apparently. And yes, we'll have a headquarters once we've searched it and found the suitable documents.
And you thought just killing the guy last time would have been the end. Oh no.
There's the opportunity to vault up somewhere and make money. No, never. Alright, so we're not moving on to a different city next session then.
That's entirely up to you. You could.
Well, if we own a tavern in this one, I think no.
I mean, Scrap going back to the forest and finishing his degree. I think he's got a reasonable career in the tavern industry.
You're just gonna, claim you're going for your masters by planting trees in the garden, aren't you?
Pretty much.
Thing is, you've got to stay there for like 50 years or so until they get up to a reasonable height.
I've got the lifespan for it.
Yep. Right, we need to look up the word tontine.
So
Whoever's up last man standing gets the pub.
it's about 15-20 minutes before Priestess comes out of the room. And she sits in front of you with Sophia still in the room behind you.
Okay.
Well, physically, she's unharmed. She's been, as far as I can tell, fed and watered to a acceptable level. How long was she captive for?
God, has it been 3 days?
Been some time.
I think it's been 3 days.
3 days, okay.
Because we found, the researcher was down for a full day once we found him. We then had a night, so yeah, I think this is the end of day 3.
Okay. Well, physically she's fine. She's not suffering from lack of food or water. So for 3 days, if they hadn't fed or watered her, we would see
Right.
that she was becoming ill. She seems very drowsy. It seems like she's been fed some herbs to induce that sort of state.
Yes. They were using poisons to knock people out as they were kidnapping them. So, if they are skilled in herbology, that would seem likely.
That would certainly explain some things that we have seen from our normal supplies being harder to get hold of late, if they have
Yes.
used a lot. Would I be right in
late
assuming
Matilda
that this
said
is
so.
related to the missing fighters, causing
Yes.
the
Aye.
fighting circuit to be shut down?
We can safely say I don't think they're going to turn up.
I see.
We found a number of desiccated hearts concealed in the same room as the obviously evil altar.
I see.
They've been disposed of.
Yeah.
Very good.
Lenore's not even flinching when he says that. Inwardly eye-rolling hard enough that, they're in danger of coming out of her skull and just bounding across the floor.
I
But,
cannot
no.
see any sign of any magical affliction on her.
That's a relief.
I think she will need some time and rest, but she should recover fully from her ordeal.
Excellent. She has a family who are awaiting her return with some eagerness, I would imagine.
That's good.
Terribly upset.
That is very good. From where you say there was a evil area where this was done, would you be able to retrace your steps back there if I was to perhaps send one or two of my acolytes to cleanse the area?
Absolutely.
That would be ideal. We were going to look into the possibility of getting the area cleansed. Aye, and that would seem like an excellent thing. If
We
you
can
could
do this.
that, we will certainly lead you in the right direction.
Excellent. Well, I will let you get the girl back to her family. When you are ready to take us through to wherever this was, I will have someone ready to do this.
This might not be the right place to discuss it, but also is there the possibility that if there is any lingering after effects that you would need to cleanse up, I'm hoping that it would help if the area were then used for a more positive purpose, like the betterment of the people at large. And maybe the church could see their way clear to assisting with some of the funding for turning it into more of a community centre type area where people could come and learn new skills and hear talks about important issues that they need to understand.
The Temple of Shelley is not one that is blessed with a large pool of funds itself. We spend most of our funds on healing and repairing damage.
Forgive my friend. She's had a very long day, and it's gone straight to her head. Doesn't have far to go.
I knew
see.
that was coming. I could hear it coming. I just knew it was coming.
Funny, I was thinking almost exactly the same thing. Right. In that case,
you and your not your child, but the child, you are free to go. She will heal. She will be fine.
Good. So
Right,
no
let's
further
get her back to her
treatment.
dad then.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you for bringing her here, and thank you for your words on where this happened. I will have someone ready for you when you are ready to go back down there.
Yes.
Thank you for your assistance.
Right. Okay. Yep. Let's escort her back. Can we get I don't know, carts or cabs or things available?
Carts are available, yes. Carriage.
Yeah. Can we? I'm just thinking that's probably easier than walking the poor kid across the entire
You
length
want
of
to
the
hail a
city
hand?
again. Yes. Absolutely. I'm waiting. So for Knight to start
Volunteer
throwing
plan.
himself bodily at cabs.
No, I'm not playing an Aussie.
No.
Yeah, it's more of a pony and a hay cart rather than a handsome cab. But yes,
Phone and trap. Yes, we can do that. Everyone can pile in, and then we can get her back quicker, and she won't be as knackered.
and that'll be a couple of shillings.
Yeah, not a problem.
You're paying it.
Oh yeah, I am paying. What's the exchange rate? Is it 10 for 10?
No, it's
Shilling?
25
This is
pennies
a
for a
proper
shilling.
rate.
Oh crap! Did you say 25 pennies?
20 pence to
20 pence to a shilling, sorry.
And
5 shillings to a crown?
It might be.
It's basically the same as Old English coinage.
Yeah, and there's a
My
reason
brain
I
has
am.
gone to sleep and I can't do the maths, but it works out to 260 pennies to a crown.
I am intensely glad I was born in the era of decimalisation.
Right, that was it. It's 1 crown is 20 shillings, and 1 shilling is 12 pennies.
Right,
we go.
I knew 12 were
240
involved
pennies
somewhere.
per crown.
Okay.
Thank you, Fish.
I really should have known that because I got to the bit in the Time Traveller's Guide to Medieval England today about coinage, which was running through the coinage, which is much the same.
I'm just labelling shillings and pence on my character sheet now. Hang on. So, did you say it was 2 shillings, yeah?
2 shillings, yeah.
I mean, the old system does
Not
sound
money, 2 shillings.
more fun.
Yes.
But
No.
it is a lot of money, but there's a lot of you to carry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
true.
that's. Did you say 20 shillings to a
20
crown,
shillings
yeah?
to a crown.
Right.
20 shillings to a
So
crown,
that's-
yeah.
Okay, that's
Then
cool.
12 pennies to a shilling.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I haven't had to actually convert anything during my spending so far because I've already got pennies, crowns, and shillings all on the go.
Yeah, I think you broke it all down on day one after character creation, so you've got a good spread.
Got a selection to begin with, and then I've acquired some more since then. I think everything I've acquired since then has been crowns. So I'm going to
So
need
you're quite
more.
rich.
Do you remember?
I think I give 14 crowns.
Do you remember the very start of Remembrance of the Daleks, where Ace is having old money explained to her? Yeah, that's where I am.
I've got enough in crowns to buy 2 replacement maces. So
Bloody hell.
rich is not really it.
No, but you're richer than me, for example. How are they spelling shillings? Because I just added an extra C there. I suspect that's not correct.
There's no C in it, no.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a temptation, given the Germanic setting of the Warhammer world, to add the sea in, but it's
Yeah.
not there.
Yes, I don't see any point.
Oh, God. No.
Hooray.
You keep doing that and you will be punished.
Oh.
Ouch.
That's
We
not
will
I
have
helping.
wonder
to.
if the tavern already has a cart.
You'll
Right.
have to have a considerable length of time in a planetarium.
Ooh. So the cart takes you back to the Grey Lord,
Mm-hmm.
whereupon you... how are you planning to enter in? Are you going to burst in to say, we found Sophia, or something more subtle?
I don't want to shock Sophia any more than she actually has to, so I think preparing the way. So if Leonard's is going to help her out of the cart,
Yep.
obviously the poor girl is already doomed and is going to need to be bathed repeatedly. Then
Nora or Erdich should go in first.
yeah,
Yeah, she needs to be soaked in like some kind of acetone for a good while. No, I'm going to. Yeah, I'll head in and I'll tap Enzo on the shoulder and give him a quiet word. We've found her, Enzo. Come.
Walks up, hands
she's
him a hand to a piece of paper with the
Yeah.
word whisper on it. It's a quiet word.
She's
God.
a little shaken up. Maybe you want to come outside and meet her.
yes. As long as the second thing you say is, and she's not dead. Walking up incredibly solemnly and say, yes, we found her.
And she's in the back of the
I-
cart out front.
Oh!
I haven't considered that. So yeah, I'll show him out to the carts.
Yes.
Okay, he is unable to utter any words, just the odd syllable as he tries to form a word of thanks, and the words fail him. It's just sort of lots of heavy breathing and as he follows you out.
Okay.
That's where we find out
He
Sophia
seems to
has
have paled
married
a
off.
little bit, but
Yeah. I was torn between whether the child would say, "Who's that?" or whether he'd walk out and say, "That's not my daughter."
Yeah, I have to say that's where I'm going with this.
well, to be fair, based on the description, the key defining factor does
Could
kind
be a
of...
different purple-eyed, silver-haired child.
Yeah,
I'm
of
sure
course, there's loads of those around.
Yeah, it's perfectly common. What's your problem?
Yeah.
Says the purple-eyed
Two of
bald
them
one.
right here, right now. It must be common.
Yeah, look at the eyebrows. They're silver.
Are any of these your children?
Yeah. We've got a selection box. Just pick one. Looks about the right
Yeah.
size.
We gathered the usual suspects. Take a quick look in here. Can you identify the child you believe may be yours?
Yes.
As Ezio gets outside, he lays eyes on his daughter and immediately rushes over to give her a big hug.
Well, that's a relief.
And she sort of stands there, still dopey and not quite with it enough to respond in any way.
The priestesses of Shalia have examined her. They say that basically she needs resting care. She has been drugged, so don't worry as much as you probably are. Apparently, she is physically she's unhurt, and there shouldn't be anything too lingering aside from the trauma of having been imprisoned.
He looks up at you, tears rolling down his face.
Yes.
Are you sure she's there? But
She should
she's
be fine.
not there.
Yes.
We
She's
think
been
maybe
through a
she's
lot.
still suffering the lingering after effects of something that they gave her to keep her malleable. It'll wear off once it gets out of her system.
Yes. Just they just said to rest and take care of her and such.
Thank you. I am in your debt. I must get her inside.
Clamping down on Brunhilde. No,
I've never said a word.
not yet.
And he starts to usher Sophia inside.
Right. I'm thinking, chaps, that we've got an inn to repurpose.
We have.
As he goes inside, he looks across to Inga at the bar.
Happening.
He says, Inga, get our friends some drinks on the house, whatever they want.
Drinks first, then paperwork. Priorities.
We could stop for a drink.
Yes. Then paperwork.
Upon
He's
hearing
got
this,
it.
you can see as you go through you hear Ezio say this to Inga, and you see the look of glee on Eagle's face from the table at the other end. It's like, there's drinks. You drink with me. Come, drink.
Oh my goddess.
Do you mean Ivan?
Sorry,
Yes.
yes, Ivan.
I was going to say, who the hell? No,
Sorry,
Ivan.
yes, Ivan.
Ivan, my friend, have you ever considered working as a bouncer?
What is bouncer?
A door guard in a drinking establishment to make sure that nobody causes trouble.
Some fighting
Is
involved.
professional fighter, yes?
Well, on a good day, you wouldn't actually have to do any fighting. You'd be more there to discourage other people from fighting.
It's
You pay fighter to fight, but not fight.
Yes.
Basically, yes.
I do not understand.
I'm not that sure I do, but it's the way it's done.
Come here for. Right. Then yeah, a couple of drinks down, definitely. And
So Ezio's escorted Sophia up to her room.
remind me, what's the inn that we now own almost called?
The Bloody Tusk.
The Bloody Tusk. Yes, we need a new name.
We don't
Tavern.
have
It doesn't have
rooms.
It doesn't have
customer
accommodation.
dormitories. It has
No.
accommodation, you confirm that, but you
Only
suspect it's
stuff.
living area rather than
Yeah.
dormitories.
It's got accommodation for us.
Yes.
Yes.
I still think under new management is suitably adequate for both.
Possibly we could go that way if we don't come up with anything better. That's kind of a baseline name.
Let's put a pin in that and we'll come back to
Yeah. Well, everybody brainstorm, then we can throw everything in the hat and see what runs up the
Oh
flagpole.
my word, the flying ferret.
No, absolutely not. Isn't going to happen.
I can see Drut's like, actually, that kind of works.
Now, it's not going to be a tavern. It's going to be a community centre. If it was a tavern, we'd obviously call it the Slaughtered Demon. But it's not. So we will come up with something more appropriate.
To be honest, the Flying Ferret's not the worst name I've heard.
Well, it's the worst name I've heard.
I'd have thought that was the Slaughtered Demon. It's a bit on the nose.
That we are going... I didn't say we were going to call it the Slaughtered Demon. I said we would do it. We were reopening it as a tavern, which we're not.
It's going to have tavern qualities.
It's going to be quality. I'll give you that.
Yes. It's going to serve alcoholic beverages for money.
It will serve refreshments for those in need, yes.
Of an alcoholic
Going to
nature for
We're
money.
going to need to provide food as well.
Right. Is that your sort of gig?
At a reasonable cost.
Oh, not your sort of gig then.
Inexpensive but good food for those that don't have anywhere else to go because they are poor and downtrodden and in needing assistance.
Yes.
So basically, it's a community centre with a soup kitchen.
No,
Oh
no,
my
no,
word.
no. Soup kitchen implies given for free.
Oh my word, it is a
going to
gastro
charge.
hub.
It is a gastro. Yeah, it's going
It's-
towards gastro.
It's a gastro pub.
She's a
Indeed.
halfling, of course it's a gastropub. How did she run?
I don't know. The one-armed halfling.
Well, this is why I love campaigns where I can just throw stuff at these guys and they just go and run with it in some other direction where I don't know where it's going to go.
Interesting idea. Given that both races are short,
Mm.
if you tied halflings in with the other two short races, in fact, would you then have dwarves, gnomes, and gastronooms?
no.
I am going to throw
I
things.
love the idea of halflings being called gastronomes. What's
Gastronomes.
next for me?
That appeals to me. Okay.
It also sounds a lot like they've got wind.
It does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
You've
big
got a
fish.
grown out of Captain Lockheed. So.
Yeah, you've got people who've no comment who are commenting the appallingness of your naming strategy.
There you go. I'm forcing lurkers to actually comment. I'm
Which is a
doing
skill
my
in
job,
itself.
what
That's a
I'm
skill in
here for.
itself.
Yes, but express the pain, share the pain with us, but we have to suffer it. Okay,
Gastronome.
So whatever drink you ask of Inga, she pulls it from either the ale kegs or from the brandy or whiskey rum bottles. Whatever it is you're drinking, there's no question of paying for it. You've already heard it's on the house. On by all accounts,
Right.
she's going to keep them coming.
right. We are not going to get paralytic. That's actually addressed to the group. We're not getting paralytic. We have things to do.
It's not the worst name I've heard for a pub.
It bloody ought to be.
No, that's the Blazing Donkey.
That one actually exists.
I know it used to, but yeah, been closed for a while. But I used to love the inn sign for it,
Yeah.
which was indeed donkey with its backside on fire because it actually happened.
Yes.
Yes, we don't have any. Did you just spell misnomer
With a K, yes.
with an yeah? If you'd spelt it with a G, I would
It would have
actually
been
have
even-
to come over there and I don't know, gives you or something. Yeah, I think you're possibly on the right track, but I don't think we necessarily need to go there.
Spelt with misnomer. That's what you call your Lovecraftian university.
And we're getting well into the puns. So,
Okay, so yeah, this is something that we can sort out between this and when next we come back.
yes, indeed. When time will have passed and you will have signs up and you'll have decided what your new tavern's going to be called.
Yeah, what it looks like and what the decor's like. We will be discussing the decor.
Yes, there's a limit to what we can do with decor until Night has drawn us the maps.
Indeed.
Yes. we'll need
Which
the
is
floor
going to
plans,
be at
absolutely.
least after I've done wars.
Yeah. That's fine. Obviously, we'll want something nice and easily washed down for the enthusiastic
It's
debates.
a
that
pub
will
that's
happen.
been built and modified around the idea of fighting. It's fairly easily washed down already.
I feel like if you want to make it wash down and also fight and conversational, bunting is the go-to.
Lenore definitely seems keen on the idea that we use the cellar for pit enthusiastic debating.
Exactly, yes. Well, the thing is that we can repurpose it. This is how lecture theatres, I gather, are structured. You have the sunken area in the middle, and then you have rate seating up so that people can see academics tear strips of each other.
I think you're thinking of amphitheatres there.
You tell me what the difference is structurally between a lecture hall and an amphitheatre.
There's really not much.
Lack of amphis.
Yeah,
I was gonna
lack
say,
of amphibians.
I was going to say an amphitheatre has less arms.
Oh.
Anywho.
I
So-
was working along those lines, but you got there before.
How many of the free drinks are you partaking of? Are you actually getting paralytic, or are you going to consciously
No.
stop?
No, I
Brunhilde
don't.
is only having one drink. She wants to get back and look for those documents.
Because
Yeah, the
every
North having
every
two.
time you look like you're going to get up and leave, Ivan is there trying to encourage you to stay and drink more.
We unfortunately
Stop.
have somewhere to be
Stop.
before we
Not
can
now.
hit the hay tonight.
Important things to do.
Yeah.
You should be
you're not
looking
celebrate.
after.
We celebrate Sophia's return.
Tell you what, you try going drink for drink with Leonard.
That's it. You and Leonard celebrate Sophia's return. We'll be back in a while, but we've got something very important we need to do.
You've gone very thin and tinny there, Fish.
Oh, I think that's just because I've got very rarely I've got music playing on my end, and I think it's just checking.
No, it's buggering up your sound engine. Now, whatever it is, because you sound like a Dalek on helium.
Yeah.
That's
Something certainly has suddenly sent you going very thin and tinny.
Tin and Thinny.
Indeed.
And I've just named a gnome.
Is it any different?
That's better.
That is better.
Yeah.
We started the sound engine, so whether that did it or it was just my internet is cleared up, I don't know.
Yeah. It could well be a sound engine issue.
Yeah, it didn't show an issue with your networking side. It didn't show your connection getting weaker.
Never had a problem with the sound engine that I couldn't detect before. I don't know what you get.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
What fun.
Yay.
But only once this session, so less of a problem.
Indeed.
Right, okay, so yeah, I'm limiting to 2 options. We'll then set Ivan on Leonard. So there's a good chance that Leonard now will need the attentions of the Temple of Shalia to heal his liver.
Purge and cleanse.
Or we come back and find Ivan unconscious under a table and Leonard sat there smug.
Is this something that Leonard has a liver?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think he's been functioning without one for years since he sold it.
I think he's just immune to toxins. This is why he's so unfussed about the sewers.
That would explain a lot.
He actually has poison immunity.
Oh wow, yeah.
No, this is not an incentive to cut your own liver out.
So, heading back to the Bloody Tusk.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yes.
You let yourselves in, and you have the run of the place.
I'm locking the door once we're in and barring it.
Okay.
Yes, start searching for documents, but also anything else of particular interest. Valuables, anything cult related. So we're basically just making a pile in the middle of every room of anything that
Pretty much.
of interest.
Yep.
Because we want to gut the place and redo the whole thing anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Storage Wars, but we've got a whole house.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there's not going to be anyone bidding on the stuff at the end of it.
Yeah, and there's no annoying bald guy with the pair of bolt croppers.
Well, I'm not quite bald.
Yeah, you're not annoying. Oh god.
That's comforting to hear. So, can I have some initiative rolls, please, for looking for hidden things? Because whilst there are plenty of things that will be open and easy to see, there may be some things that you're looking for that aren't as obvious.
28 out of 45.
Okay.
So
And which rooms are you guys starting in?
I'm going to the top of the building.
Okay.
yeah, I want to start the hunt around and look for something that looks like it might be the master bedroom itself.
Okay,
Yeah.
when you say the top of the building, are you talking about the floor with the rooms in, or are you talking about the attic?
There's an attic. I'm
Right.
going to the attic.
Because as I say, I'm looking for the master bedroom.
Yeah. I will seek out the attic then.
Okay.
The attic.
So you on looking for the master bedroom, you notice the very obvious trapdoor that indicates an attic. So that wasn't covered in your roll. That was an obvious thing.
Good,
There is
that's
there is indeed an attic that you can then search through. So
Yep.
Drut's upstairs in the attic. Fish is looking
Yep.
for the master bedroom.
I
Kiki.
was searching behind the bar, but clearly I got distracted.
Odin,
Uh-huh.
you found the whiskey. Right, so I mean the thing is, Kiki, the roll is only to look for any hidden things that may or may not be there. I've asked the roll for everyone and then asked what rooms you're looking for, so I know who's going to find what, or not, as the case may be. So
Well,
I will start
I'm-
with the attic,
Okay.
and I'll work through the tavern top to bottom.
Yep.
So the attic isn't as dusty and unkempt as you might expect from most attics that you've been in, which are normally a storage space for garbage and crap.
Yeah.
This has been set up, to all intents and purposes, as a study.
Uh-huh. Right. Let me just check if I can read. I can't read. Guess what I'm going to have to bring down. Right. I know that where there is a study by an evil cult leader, there are bound to be books. Please don't ask me about my childhood. Daddy was an acolyte. So I'm going to.
It's not difficult to spot that there's a desk, a bureau, and there are books.
I'm going to rifle through the desk and I'm going to make a nice big pile of all the books and any written material I can find. Plus any spare paper because Brunhilde keeps bitching about not having any.
There is indeed an amount of spare paper available, yes.
Okay.
Is an acolyte like a regular acco but with less sugar, or like a regular acco but with less alcohol?
Or possibly like a regular alco but slightly brighter.
People ask the same thing of experts, whether or not they're just has-been drips under pressure.
Right, I'm going to, once I've taken the books and the contents of the desk out, I'm going to engage in heavy-duty tapping, looking for concealed drawers, things, which should be far easier to do now I've actually emptied it. So it's shouldn't be anything concealed.
So you've got a pile of books on the floor.
One of those is she gets a new house and she has to christen every room with some heavy-duty tapping.
Ouch.
You go through all the drawers on the bureau, tapping, no hidden compartments or anything there.
Okay.
And just on a whim, you do the same to the floorboards, and find that some floorboards are loose.
Right, I'll have them up.
And upon lifting those, you find a somewhat old, dark, looks in the poor light that is in the attic, leather-bound book with a clasp and a lock holding it in place.
Right.
And beside that is a small box that looks to be in a similar style. Again, with a lock on it.
You know, I can't decide if we're going to be having a bonfire soon or whether I'm going to be making a donation to a temple.
What harm ever came from reading a book?
The Middenheim Wizards Guild.
Yeah, that's possibly an idea.
In terms of people to safely dispose of things.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd be...
Use them.
They can have a bonfire.
I feel like we'd be gravely making an error if we disposed of the book rather than selling the book or using the book for profit.
I am being really cautious.
Hey, look, demon bouncers.
No, Kislevite bouncers. No demons. Big sign up saying demons not welcome.
I'm not entirely sure Brunhilde will agree with that. Not Brunhilde. Lenore. Yes, Brunhilde.
Yes.
Brunhilde will definitely agree with that. No.
Oh wow. You're going to disparage against a minority class, are you?
Oh boy.
Brunhilde.
Yes, I am.
Everybody
You've
has their
changed.
limits.
This journey has changed, Brunhilde.
Yes, it has. She squished some poor defenseless guy's head straight out.
Demonologists are not a downtrodden minority. Quite the opposite.
No, but you could argue.
1%. They're behind it all. It's their fault.
But you could argue that the demons are being oppressed.
The population has 100% of the demons.
If
Could
demons
you not...
are being oppressed,
Yeah.
then it behoves us to remove any means of their oppression, which means these books go into fire.
Stay home.
Exactly. You don't want to drag them from
burners,
their
huh?
home when they be having quiet dinner with their demonic family.
So,
I always thought it was a shame that Warhammer completely ignored law.
Yeah.
The original setup, law was, I mean, chaos was always a big deal, but law was a thing. And there were lawful demons and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then that just completely went out the window. They never developed
Yeah.
it.
It was all a bit Moorcock, really, wasn't it?
Very, very Moorcock influenced.
Yeah.
Warhammer, yeah.
Yeah, which makes actually a hell of a lot of sense.
indeed.
Yes.
So,
Law and chaos
Fish.
and that being as bad as each other.
There are, as you know from your previous very brief scout round, there's a few bedrooms, all of which would appear to be for Albrecht and his staff. The biggest of them you would take to be the master bedroom. None of them are particularly ornate in terms of furniture, but the biggest of them, has a double bed rather than single beds like the others. But hanging on the wall are a number of accoutrements that one might associate with a former pit fighter. There's crossed swords hanging on the wall with a shield in front, axes. It's almost like you've walked into Lenore's wardrobe.
Yeah, that's definitely the room I'm going to search then. And my search roll was 32, which beats my initiative by 30.
It's pretty good. So, rummaging through loads of clothes, definitely Albrecht's room. They are clothes that would fit a guy of Albrecht's size and build. Nothing that would indicate a cultist leaning or a demonic leaning or even a demonologist leaning. There's no books, no weird weirdity, because that's all upstairs. Until after rummaging through the wardrobe, you spot that actually it's not as deep as it should be. So a little bit of tapping, and you find a panel that slides open.
Okay, so I tap a couple of lands in order to open the panel.
And but behind the panel is what looks like should have been where the kit that he was wearing when you fought him would live.
Should be.
And on the floor, underneath where all the armour would hang, lying on the floor, almost looked like it got dropped instead of picked up and put on, is an amulet on a chain.
Danger Will Robinson.
I will examine said amulet. What is it? What is its nature?
It's a metal amulet, slightly goldish in colour, and there's a gem set in the centre of it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll pocket that.
Its size-wise, it's about sort of that size. So it's not a small amulet.
Fishy. You've just deployed a significant amount of common sense on the disposal of the book, but apparently potentially cursed evil amulet, you're fine.
Amulet.
Straight down the pawnbrokers.
Evil, dude. I need to know more about it first. I didn't say I will rush out and sell it. I said I will pocket it. Not leaving it lying around.
Okay.
And then going through further in the room, in one of the drawers in a clothing unit, underneath a stack of undergarments, you find a small set of paperwork folded up and sealed.
Yeah. Well, I can read, so I will examine the paperwork and see what it all is.
It would appear to be the deeds to this very building in Albrecht's name.
Found what we're looking for.
So, moving downstairs further to Kikiki and the pub floor.
Yes, I was planning.
Up for having found the box of wisdom.
I was planning to look behind the bar for anything that might be surreptitiously hidden, prepared for, like, if anyone they don't want comes in. But apparently I found some. Yeah, apparently I found other things first with my 3 degrees of failure.
Well, you don't find anything hidden, but there are plenty of things in open sight. For instance, strapped underneath the serving bar is a loaded crossbow.
Oh, fantastic.
Presumably for those moments where the barman just needs to pull something out and shoot the bejesus out of someone that he doesn't like. There's also a short sword and a couple of throwing daggers, again all strapped underneath the bar for ease of access by the bar staff. They're not hidden away, they are quite visible from those behind the bar. there is a lockbox which presumably has bar takings in it. And then out from behind the bar you go towards the kitchen. Again, everything you would expect to find in the kitchen. In fact, Brunhilde's been in the kitchen and knows exactly what's in there because she's prepared food in there.
Mm-hmm.
The facilities, they're not spectacular, but they're passable. Elsewhere on the floor, obviously there's the main drinking area. There's, I hesitate to call it a restroom, but that's the current parlance. It's privy. You already know about the stairs down to the basement where the pit fighters would go for their bouts. But other than that, there's nothing spectacular around here at all. It's quite boring and bland, really.
Hey, I did my part and I found the whiskey.
You did indeed find the whiskey. I still can't believe you fed those hearts to your ferrets. I'm sorry.
I didn't think. I was looking for a book. My brain just said, oh, don't need these. I guess the ferrets can have them.
Okay.
So, those searches take approximately the same amount of time. So as Fishy shouts out, I found what we were looking for, you're all just about finishing up your bits and pieces.
Okay. I will bring the stuff down from the attic.
What time of day is it?
Oh Lord, we are quite in. We must be now mid-morning because you've pretty much gone through the night in terms of tracking down Sophia via 2 locations, chasing through the sewers to get to where this location was, had the scrap with Maestro, then taking Sophia off to Shalaya and back again. I said Shalaya that time. Shalia. So yeah, it's early hours of morning.
Oh goodness. So how long has it been, sorry?
It's been about 3 or 4 days. We're at the end of a very long day.
Very long day, yes. This has been your longest day. You've been going for close to 24 hours. You guys are shattered.
Okay, Go on.
I reckon at this point, what we ought to do, we ought to deliver these documents to Rapetti for his work, and then get some sleep.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave the other 2 to deliver the documents, as it's been quite a while, and I'm guessing since that was quite some potent stuff, there are some side effects to the stuff that was making the elf feel as reasonably fit as they were.
So he's going to crash out somewhere.
Yeah, the pain from the injured arm is stinging a tad, and you can feel all the effects wearing off. Yes.
Yep. Right. I think we're pretty much. Yeah. I'm sorry, I've just had a work-related email. I'm just gonna have to. I was wondering when we were planning on winding this up.
Not much longer.
Okay.
So, Kiki, am I right in assuming that Erda is heading back to the Grey Lord for crashing out and going, oh, hell, that bloody hurts?
You think I'm going all the way to the Grey Lord? I'm claiming a room.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So who is taking the documentation to Rapetti?
Brunhilde and Lenore, I would assume.
Okay.
Because it seems silly to send Brunhilde out in the middle of the night.
Or morning, as the case may be.
Yeah. He did just say small hours. Right, yeah, so we can get that delivered.
You found it then. Well, I can certainly get this to my my team, and we can get this properly ratified in your name without need for any unpleasantness. Just a favour or 2 owed.
Yeah, let's just discuss this arrangement, how this is going to work. When you say a favour or 2 owed,
Yes.
that sounds to me just a little bit too vague for my mind. No idea what that favour's going to be. Could be anything. Could
Correct.
leave us in quite a lot of trouble. I'd rather have something that we actually know and understood from the word go. I was wondering about when the ownership deeds are drawn up, we possibly simply arrange nice and simply that you have a part share. Put you down as an investor, providing initial funds for us in return for a share of profits.
Your counter-offer has weight. However,
Strictly business going on over there.
I am more than familiar with your capabilities. Let's be brutally honest here. You have faced down and defeated someone who has kidnapped, murdered, overcome a number of incredibly tough combatants. And
so
you
much
and your
so.
friends defeated him and his cronies in no short order, with no loss to yourselves. You are clearly an efficient team.
Yeah, we
A
got
team
lucky
whose
about
skills I may have need of. You are familiar with my line of work, and I am familiar with the fact that you have
that.
killed
There are elements
a
of your
local
line-
landlord.
there are elements of your line of work which I cannot approve of, and there are other elements of your line of work which I entirely do approve of. Since you are a man who, as I understand it, does his bit for his people and those in the neighbourhood around him, and does a lot of good for the neighbourhood, and that's grand.
A neighbourhood that includes your new tavern.
Aye, which is one of the things that makes that quite so grand. But you're also somebody who is involved in areas of endeavour that I cannot approve of and that I cannot get involved in. And this amorphous owing a favour idea can easily lead to you saying, I need that favour now, and it's going to be this, and this being something that I simply cannot approve of. And then you get to be very disappointed when I say no.
Then
And
let
I
us say
very
that the.
disappointed when you have me killed.
Then let us take your offer and add a single favour that you owe me. And that favour guaranteed to be something of a legitimate nature.
A legitimate nature. See, I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not really that fussed about it. Legitimate.
I am.
Poundy.
That sounds acceptable.
No, Poundy, that sounds like that.
There's one, I was going to offer 3.
Were you a genie?
It's got a certain element of tradition about it.
We're not playing Coriolis here.
Given that there is a cut of profits involved because I'm in partnership with you, I think one favour is sufficient.
And the percentage?
50.
I'm sorry, dragons. We're going to have to go and have a discussion with the wall, if you don't mind.
50% and a favour seems like an awful lot.
49.
Well,
Just for a token, I'd like us to retain the controlling interest.
no, it's not like that. No.
Oh, it is.
Part
It
ownership.
really is.
No, it's not a part ownership that we're looking at. It's an interest which entitles him to 50%, as he says it, of net profits. After, of course, reinvestment into the business has occurred and necessary expenses have been paid, etc., etc., etc. But 50%, when we're doing all work, does seem like quite a lot. How about 60-40?
60-40.
Obviously, we get the 60.
I was assuming as such. I'm sure you wouldn't be as foolish to negotiate me up from 50 to 60%.
No, this is not.
Sorry, I've spent too much time with Leonard. He'd have assumed the other way.
Then it's just as well you're doing the negotiations, not he. 60-40 and a legitimate favour. That is acceptable. Will you shake on it? A pleasure dealing business with you.
It's been a
I'll have your
pleasure
documents to you as soon as I can.
Good.
Will I
No,
find
it's
you
fine,
at the
yes.
Grey Lord or will I find you at the Bloody Tusk?
The
You
bloody
will find us
tusk.
at the formerly known Bloody Tusk, which we will be renaming as soon as bloody possible.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll have the documents to
Yeah, we
you.
want to get to work on it as soon as. So
I'll have the documents to you by the end of tomorrow.
Excellent.
It's been a pleasure.
Indeed.
and right now I need sleep.
Yep.
Like
has
it's
been a long day.
week since we last did.
Indeed. So back to the tusk.
Back indeed.
All right.
In the Pratchett tradition, I'm wondering if you should call it the cleansed tusk.
That just sounds kinky.
I mean, there was the drum, the broken drum, the mended drum.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
with your
that's
return to the
mended.
tusk and bedding down for the night, that is where we shall wrap up the finale. For
Brilliant.
the loose ends are tied. Sophia is back with her family and recovering. And various seeds for future adventures have been indeed sown.
Cool.
Yes, indeed they have. Excellent. Oh,
And you've got a base of operations.
Yep.
Thank you very much for that night. That was
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun.
It was indeed. Thoroughly enjoyed.
Glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed.
And thank you guys for having me along.
Always a pleasure, Kiki.
Great.
Yep. Even
And
though you
thank-
are truly disturbing with ferrets.
And thank you guys in the audience for joining us on the journey.
Yes, indeed.
Cool, cool. I look
So what are we
forward
doing next week?
I don't know.
Okay, so we don't
So Drut's running next week, but we don't know what.
I am running something next week. I don't know what I'm running next week because it's come back unexpectedly quick because I had 2 sessions of Falkenstein.
Indeed.
I have a number of quick plays. I may well dive into one of those.
if I trusted us to actually run a tournament scenario that originally had a 3-hour time limit attached to it in a single session, I might be tempted to volunteer to run Ghost Tales and Vanessa, but I don't for 1 minute think it's going to play in a single session.
Yeah, we have a habit of stringing out things that are set for 3 sessions out to 9, 10, 11 sessions.
Nice little
Time for
2
a
session.
3-hour tournament session, it'll probably take us at least a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will sort something out for next week, or something will be sorted
Brilliant.
out for next week.
Something
It won't be something we've played before. I can tell you that. If I've got a week or 2 when I can be doing something a bit different, I will take that on. May well be a quick play. I keep looking at Liminal sideways because I have the quick play for that I picked up last year at Dragon Beat and haven't played yet. So I might give that a punt. Otherwise, if anyone has any suggestions or things they'd like to see played, do let me know in the next week. Ideally, before like Thursday.
when we know what it is, it will be announced on our Discord. So,
Indeed.
if
And
you
on the
want to
Twitter.
Discord, anybody who is interested to hop along where you can chat to us and poke at us and complain about what we do.
Still haven't put that command in, huh?
Apparently not.
That command should be in. I'm guessing the bot's not running.
Ah,
I haven't seen any notices today, so no.
no,
think the bot-
I don't have control of the bot, I'm afraid.
Hang on.
uh,
No, the bot has actually crashed.
Oh, the bot's
I've got not responding. Sorry.
Ah,
Okay, I will just quickly
We like to think of technical difficulties here
as
as
our
a
trade
feature.
Yeah, technical difficulties are a trademark of.
I thought it was going too well. Ding dong.
lost the Discord thing. Oh, I've got it here.
Oh goodness, sorry, my communications device is going off. It's
Okay.
not picking up, is it?
Only that there was something happening. It's not been picking up as badly as Fishy says.
Alright, fortunately, I've got my bot running and I've copied the link across.
Okay. Excellent. So yes.
So you'll find us all on that Discord. It's a community Discord shared by Fish, Drap, myself, and a few other streamers. Pop in, say hi, and if you're looking specifically for the tabletop stuff, there is a section for that, and including some sections for dedicated games that we are running in an extended nature.
Indeed.
That's very true, Chrono. Yes, technical difficulties are indeed situation normal.
Yes. Right. Okay. I'm going to head off then. and
Indeed.
start
Thank you very
the
much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you and good night.
Good night,
Thank you
folks.
very much, and good night.